Hey guys, welcome back to Katie's Book Nook. My name is Katie and I'm here today to do a book review. So it's been a while since I've done an actual book review, but I was inspired by Vlogmas. It is December 3rd, so I'm doing catch-up videos right now. But I wanted to do one on Sisters of the Winter Wood by Raina Rossner. So my husband actually took this book back to the library for me today, but this is the cover. I know there's a little bit of a glare. I'm using natural light and it's just about 4 o'clock in the Northeast, so it's not great lighting, but this is what we're dealing with here. But it's The Sisters of the Winterwood by Raina Rossner. So this book, I remembered walking past it in Barnes & Noble back in October, and I really, saw the cover and was just struck by how pretty it was. But I was in and out really quick in a hurry, and I didn't have time to just, sit down and look at it and read. So I decided, sorry, my phone. I decided that I would add it to my Goodreads list and then, go from there. So I totally forgot about the book. My Goodreads TBR list is so crazy. But I walked past my local library's new releases shelf, and they have it separated by genre. And I always look at historical fiction, and fantasy and sci-fi. And this one caught my eye immediately. I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this book. And I decided to take it out. So, I read this book in November, and November was a very slow reading month for me, but I finished this book in about 2 or 3 days. It was a little bit slow to start, I will say that, but that was my own personal issue. That's not, nobody's fault but mine. But it's folklore meets fantasy, magical realism, I guess. It takes place in Ukraine in the early 1900s. It is about two girls, Liba and Leia, which I think is how they pronounce their names. But they are in a community where Christians and Jewish people live side by side. Their father is Hasidic, and their mother actually converted to Judaism to marry their father. They're still kind of seen as on the outskirts of society because of that. Their mom is seen as an outsider, even though she did convert. And then on the other hand, they're seen as outsiders because they live outside of town and their father is Hasidic, which many of the other Jewish people in town are not. So they definitely have trouble fitting in. Liba always feels very clumsy. She feels like she is awkward. She wants to go to school, but as a girl in that era, she's not able to. At least in her father's tradition. Leia also feels like she never fits in, and they have different priorities. So they are sisters, they're about a year apart, and they really want approval, but from different people. So Liba's main goal is to really get approval from her father. She's very faithful, very religious, and she just wants to fit in there. While Leia, on the other hand, she is a little bit flighty. She's definitely into the social aspect. Pretty typical, I believe she's 15 or 16 in the story, of a girl that age. Liba is told in prose, her point of view is told in prose, while Leia is in verse. It's not rhyming verse, but the way that it's structured, the flow of it is very, very different. So I thought that was really well done by Rossner, the author. Their parents have to go away, so Liba and Leia have to fend for themselves. Like I said, they're in the outskirts of town, and there's something going on with the woods. So if you like Uprooted, I do recommend this book. I tried really hard not to make comparisons because Uprooted is one of my favorite books of all time. But there was definitely a feeling there. It was very atmospheric, and I really appreciated that. Throughout the story, and I don't want to give anything away because there's just so much going on in this story. There is the focus on the sister relationship. There's the folklore elements of, Eastern Europe plus, religious symbolism. It's coming of age. The sisters both have crushes and they start to fall in love. And what does it mean for their family? What does it mean for their culture? And then making choices and dealing with the repercussions of those choices and faith are all really present throughout this entire novel. It is a chunky book. It's not a quick read. It's upwards of, I think it's 430 pages, somewhere like that. It's definitely a longer one, but it is absorbing. I really just recommend it if you like fantasy, if you like folklore stories. I gave it 4.5 stars. I really did like it. The pacing was a little off in the beginning for me, but that's a personal preference. And the end was tied pretty neatly up, although I would like to see what is going to happen in the future. So it's been a while since I've done a book review, so I'm hoping to do these with more frequency. But if you've read this book, let me know. If you have any interest in reading it, let me know. I will leave the link to Goodreads down below, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.